Hi, I'm Wendelin Bagnall, permaculturist, designer and educator. This is a second of my vlogs on permaculture and mental health, how I'm using permaculture to help support my mental health. I hope that through these vlogs I will be able to share with you tools and techniques that I have used and are using to help support your own mental well-being. This is the start for me of sharing my experience in this way, so please bear with me as I progress these short films, videos, whatever you want to call them. I'm not great at technology, so I'm doing the best I can, but in true permaculture thinking, I'm just using what I have to do what I can. And the most important thing is that I need to be present and follow that process. So just using my phone and a little old stand, I'm wanting to share with you my experience, my lived experience. So first of all, this vlog, I thought I would just go through with you about the permaculture and what it is. And my last vlog, it was something I felt I had to share quite instantly. And as like any system within permaculture design, it's always evolving, and it's not really about the end game where you're getting to. It's about the process and the things you learn along the way. Permaculture is more of a philosophy, really, and it's something that you use in what you do. I think a lot about permaculture. It's underlined by 3 ethics. That's earth care, people care, and fair share. And it has a Prime Directive. And I always forget the Prime Directive in the right wording for it. But basically, it's about taking care of ourselves and our children and being responsible for them and us, and really doing that right now. So I do apologise to all those other permaculture designers and permaculturists out there for perhaps getting the wording wrong for the Prime Directive. But this is me, this is who I am, this is my brain, and today I'm really struggling. Again, I have been for quite a few weeks, and I don't really know why. I was really on and up after having 6 months therapy with a great therapist. She herself is experienced in having giving therapy to HSPs. Now, an HSP is a highly sensitive person, or a medical term for it is sensory processing sensitivity, which I identify as having that trait. It just means that I am exceptionally overwhelmed with the world around me. I find just about everything really hard to do, from learning to reading to interacting with people. And I can do these things, but it's just I process things in a really slow way. But once I've processed them, I can do amazing things. Unfortunately, it's been a big obstacle for me all my life. I only discovered what there was such a thing as an HSP probably about the last sort of 3 or 4 years. 2 therapists said to me, "Are you an HSP?" I said, "What is an HSP?" They then told me about it. I've since discovered that it is a thing, and if my information is correct, I think it's about 20% of the population has this trait, and it's not a mental health disability really. It's only a disability if people don't learn how to use the trait. It's a very special trait, and I find that I can pick up on people's sensitivities. I can pick up on people's how they're feeling, basically empathic. And as my therapist said, so I'm empathic. I think a lot of us have sensitivities in some way, but some of us more than others. But as these vlogs go on, I will share information with you and resources about that. But what's really important about doing these vlogs is sharing with you something that I think can support your mental well-being. So if you've never heard of permaculture before, check it out, give it a try, um, learn about it, read about it. It's most people recognize permaculture as being used in the garden, but there is actually a social side to it too. I love permaculture, and that's not just because I'm biased, but it's actually the thing that's helped me in my life. I found it's a place where I belong. It's helped me extremely with my mental health. I have attempted suicide on several occasions, and I have learned through using permaculture how I can shift away from those thoughts, those processes. I'm not saying I still don't get them. I don't really get them as much, except if I'm going, at the moment I'm struggling. I kind of digressed a little bit back from after having my therapy, but when I'm really struggling, if I need to just shift on with my day, one of the permaculture principles I use the most is small and slow solutions. Basically, that just means kind of just take one step at a time, and that's really helpful. Another thing that really helps me, just in my everyday life with how I live, is using the ethics before I buy anything. Um, activities that I do, I'm always thinking about the ethics, and it doesn't, can't always be a perfectionist. I don't think any of us can really be purists. I don't think that's possible. There's always some kind of obstacle in the way, but at least it helps keep me on the path to living an ethical life. So I use permaculture in my life, just everyday living, but I use it very much to support my mental well-being. So in fear of repeating myself, permaculture is a natural design science that mimics the patterns of nature, and we can use these patterns to help us create resilient and regenerative land-based systems and community systems too. It can be very complex when you're learning about it, and a lot of people feel that it's too academic, but it's not. Once you start to understand it, and once you start to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, that actually it's there are ways of learning about permaculture, and I think anybody can actually learn about it and use it in their life. And it's not going to be for everybody. Nothing always is. But so that's just really kind of an overview that I hopefully helped explain a bit of what permaculture is. We do run introduction to permaculture courses if you're really interested in learning about more. Like I say, it's a design science, so it's looking at how we can design resilient systems, and that's what's really important, how elements all connect together. It's not about one element, it's about how they all connect together. And I guess we can look at that within ourselves, how our different personalities and the things that we do, how we look at how we've all got different sides to us, so how do we use those to help us shift forward. So basically I just wanted to read a couple of things to you. So I find one technique I use if I get really stuck is to write some things down. So excuse me, but I'm just going to read some bits to you in the hope that that will just be the kind of end to this vlog today. I'm going to try and do a couple of these vlogs a week. Again, it's using the principle small and slow solutions. If you have any questions, please do email, put comments onto the YouTube channel if you're viewing this on YouTube, or comment on the Instagram page, Facebook, in whatever social platform you're viewing this. Please feel free to ask questions and comments, and I will try to answer them the best way I can. So excuse me while I go over to my notebook. So for me, I wrote this down the other day, and I just really wanted to share this. So this, for me, sort of emphasizing the whole permaculture mental health thing. And I don't, from a permaculture mental health thing, I'm not always using the design process to actually help me get through my day when I'm doing it. I think that's where it is something that I just use in what I do. And it isn't just about tools and techniques. It's about the essence of permaculture. And like I said, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy for a better world, to have a connection to nature, to be enchanted, to be playful and creative, and really connect with that childlikeness that we once had when we were small children. Um, and it takes me back to that, and it helps show me and opens me up to something that's inside of me, that I didn't really know that I had, or that I knew that I had. It gives me a connection to everything. Gives me a connection to the inner self, to the zone 00, and really a connection to being one with everything. And what I did want to share was just an experience that I had yesterday, I think, actually. And I thought it was quite funny when how I was randomly doing something, and I had this habit where I shake clothes, and I shake things to get to sort of change the energy from, if it's like something I might want to put in a drawer, like it was a belt. So I had a belt and I couldn't wash it, so I give it a shook, and for me it's like cleansing the energy, if you like the atoms on it. I don't know, maybe I'm just being silly, I don't know, but it's just a little process. It's a habit that I have, that I do, and for me, I've cleansed that item, I've cleansed that thing before I can put it away if I can't wash it, or if I don't need to wash it. I've only had it a couple of days and I just want to wear it again. And so it's like an energy shift kind of thing, really, with it. But again, I'm just going to read from some notes that I actually wrote down about this. But when I was doing this, so it was about that I was doing this with, it was really interesting where the thought took me. And I suddenly randomly thought about an experience when I was a child. And what happened was, when I shook the belt, the buckle actually hit me on the back of the hand. And then suddenly it took me to an experience that I had with my father. And he used to use a belt to punish me. So what he would do, he would take the belt, double it over, and then grab the ends and then push them together to make like an oval kind of mouth shape. And he'd make me put my hand in that, and then he would straighten it out. And that was his way of punishing me, if you like. I can't remember for what reasons they might have been, but it was just something I experienced as a child. But it was really interesting how, for some reason, I just randomly went there. So I identified this bout with that particular behaviour the experience that I had as a child. So I guess there was a pattern that had been formed with this bout and my experience as a child. So a thought process had been formed in my head. So that, that's obviously still there. And I think sometimes we don't always know why we are thinking particular things. We don't always know why we're going down a particular route in our lives until something like that might happen. And this is where we start to have these behavioural patterns, and we go through spirals of erosion, or we go through spirals of abundance with. I mean, obviously in this instance, for me it was like a spiral of erosion where I kept going through this sort of same thought process. And up until I had my therapy, I discovered I had PTSD, and a lot of things that happened to me were based in my childhood. So there was constantly this school process, there was constantly this home process. And my therapy helped me shift all those thoughts, but they're still with me, but not in a way where they're consuming and I can't shift forward in my life. I just know they exist. So I guess they've become part of my psyche. But they were patterns that stopped me from doing things. I felt like I wasn't good enough. That why did somebody need to do these things for me when I was a small child? But how do we break these patterns? How do we shift through trauma? How do we shift through our social culture, things that stop us and prevent us from being the people who we are? And I would like to say that I think permaculture has helped me do that, to help me shift those patterns, to help me shift that behaviour. And again, this is where the design side of it does come in, because we can use things, for example, like Luby McNamara's design web, which has 12 anchor points. and that's a social permaculture framework. And we can use processes like that to help work through challenging situations, adversity, and we can shift these patterns and we can move forward. And I would say that's really what's helped me, is to take permaculture and use it in that way. But within that, I bring in other tools as well. So permaculture is about using different methodologies too, and how you might, take bits and pieces of different areas in your life or philosophies that perhaps you've identified elsewhere, and bringing them together, put them in a little bag and using them, and then using those as part of your toolkit to design through that process. So I do think we can change our patterns of behavior, but I think it's we need support when we're doing that. For me, my support has come from my husband and business partner Ian, and I attend a mind support group every week, and I want to share that because I felt like it's a stigma attached to that, like being a service user. It's not. It's a group of people coming together who share a similar need, and I just wish there was more of these groups outside organisations like Mind, which as a Mind peer support worker, I really and hoping to establish that within the community groups that we're working with. So I think it's important to find support groups, find support networks that you can find that can help you shift through that. So, and we all need each other. We all need somebody, and don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to open up, because if that can stop you from thinking about taking some pills, maybe thinking about self-abuse from alcohol or drugs, then please step up, step forward, and just know that you can talk to somebody. So I want to end this vlog today. It's been a long one, I know, but I thought it's really important to share things with you that I didn't share in my last one, which thank you for those of you who responded to that and was a bit concerned. I was okay, and it's in those moments that I really feel it's important to share. There shouldn't be stigma attached to people sharing poor mental health and the problems they're having. It's okay to do it. It is okay to share with people how you're feeling, and just let people know what you need and what they can do for you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Your feedback on this vlog and the last one would be really helpful. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you want to hear more about, and I will do my utmost to actually share that with you. So take care of yourself, and know that you're not alone, and that there are others out there that are like you, and they need you, and you probably need them too. So, but you're not alone. So take care, and take care in this heat. Bye bye.